What's going on, guys? If you're anything like me, you're always looking for an edge. You're always looking for a way to get better. You're always looking for a way to avoid pain and move towards more pleasure. Whatever that pain is that you're facing, or whatever that pleasure is that you're trying to chase. Whatever the pain is that you're trying to avoid, or the pleasure that you're trying to move towards. So, doing a little research on recovery for the brain. So I got a few notes here. Active recovery for the brain. So just like you train your body, you can't train unlimitedly, right? More is not always better. So there's a reason the periodization, there's a reason there's rest, there's a reason why there's intervals, there's a reason why there's prescribed sets and reps in strength training. And it's not directly the same with your brain. It's the same concept though. It's the concept that you can't just force your brain to continue to work more. There's a point of diminishing returns. There's a point where your brain says, okay, that's enough. I'm out of glycogen. I'm out of energy. I'm out of focus. I'm out of willpower. I'm out of, anything that you think that can enhance your brain. Now, do I think that our brains are capable of a lot more than we allow? At times, yes. If we want to optimize our brain, though, here's a few active recovery tips for your brain that can just help you get back to your best way of thinking, your best focus, your best concentration, your best ability to use the 6 inches between your ears. So, number one, new sights, new sounds, new activities, new senses, new sensory input. So just getting out of the consistent routine of day-to-day life. Say you wake up, you go to the gym, you go to work, you go to class, wherever you go to the office, you come home, you see the same things, you see the same cycle over and over again. This is one of the reasons that mental health became amplified during the pandemic, is because we had the same sensory input so often. People were able to get out less, people were able to do less things, people were able to listen to fewer conversations, fewer people, fewer activities, go to the movies less, go to sporting events less. You were hearing the same things over and over again. You were seeing the same things over and over again. And maybe you zombified yourself at times by, watching different things on Netflix or on TV or listening to different music. The same impact, or it's not the same impact on a digital screen as it is in person. So active recovery for your brain. Get out, get different things that you're going to see, different things that you're going to hear. You're going to be accessing different parts of your brain. It's going to actually help you recover so that when you go back to work, when you go back to the gym, when you go back to your sport, you're going to optimize, you're going to perform more efficiently because you're getting different connections happening in the brain. And it's a way to kind of relax, release the same patterns over and over again. The second thing, let your mind wander. Let your mind wander in a sense that you do it strategically. Now, anyone that's meditated, anyone that's ever heard of the monkey mind, or anyone that's just been aware of what the hell is going on inside your brain realizes that our brain wanders, our brain goes off into so many different directions. The point here, the second point that I'm making, is to let your brain wander strategically. So what do I mean by that? Literally setting aside a time and just letting your mind go. Not necessarily in meditation. See, meditation, you just kind of witness, you see thoughts and feelings and sensations come and go. I'm talking about let your mind wander, just let it go in a sense that, okay, I see this thought, I'll follow it for a little bit. I'll let my mind wander over here. I'll let my mind wander over here. And just be curious as to what is actually arising in your mind. Not necessarily getting attached to it, not necessarily getting connected to it where it's a self-sabotaging thought and you beat yourself up to it, but just being curious as to what's actually coming up in your mind and being aware of what's coming up in your mind. So a mindful type activity. The third thing here, nature. I'm a huge fan of this one. I try to spend at least 30 minutes in nature every single day. a huge thanks to that is my dog. My dog loves going for walks, and I live literally half a mile from a high school where there's practice, soccer fields, football fields, baseball fields that we can run on, we can get on. There's a cross country trail that goes through a little bit of a field and through the woods. So it's very convenient for me to get into nature. Maybe it's not necessarily as easy for you to get into nature, but get into nature for so many different reasons. I mean, this list could be very extensive. Get into nature so that you smell fresh air, so that you experience life, so that you get to be connected to a more natural sense, a more natural being. Get into nature so that you're out of the artificial world, and it allows you to reconnect, recenter your energy into a more natural state, rather than constantly being stimulated, constantly being bombarded by artificial things. The fourth final one here, turn off the lights. I'm a huge advocate of this one as well. Turn off the lights, turn off the screens, turn off, even the lights in your house. Let your eyes rest. Let your eyes rest in a sense that we don't need LED lights, we don't need blue lights, we don't need anything coming into our eyes 24/7. Let your eyes, this kind of relates to going back to nature, but let your eyes get back to seeing things that are natural, seeing things that are occurring as they are supposed to be, with the natural rhythms of the sun rising and the sun setting, getting back to our natural circadian rhythm, our natural sleep cycle, our natural schedule. See, when we bombard ourselves at night with lights, then all of a sudden our brain is telling us to speed up. It's not time to sleep yet. There's a reason for thousands and thousands of years before electricity, humans have developed, our brains, our bodies have developed this routine, this habit, this procedure of going to bed when it gets dark out, because it sends a signal to your brain, okay, it's getting dark out, now it is time to sleep. That's our natural circadian rhythm when the sun rises and the sun sets. Turning off the lights allows you to get a little bit more in touch with that circadian rhythm, allows you to get a little bit more in touch with the natural rhythms of awake and asleep. Now, that's not always possible. That's not always simple to do. A lot of athletes that follow me, you play night games. You play a game at 7 o'clock at night, and your game ends at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It's dark out, right? You're playing under the lights. The point here being is not that you have to connect 100% to your circadian rhythm. It's to turn off your lights as much as possible, right? Even in your house, turn off your lights so that you can reconnect to seeing things more naturally. Turn off your phone when you realize you're scrolling too much. I don't know the long-term science behind it, but I have blue light blocking glasses. I know there's been a tons of research on blue light blocking glasses, and there could potentially be benefits. We just don't have the research. We don't have the history of scrolling through phones or being on a computer for 50 or 60 years at the rate that we're scrolling today. Think about it. 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, there weren't smartphones where people were scrolling and swiping and looking at their phone all day, every single day. So we were bringing in artificial light, this close to our face every single day. The long-term health repercussions, we don't know. I'm not an eye doctor. I'm not an expert on eye health, but I do know that it's not natural. So, in the morning and night, I try to eliminate as much blue light as possible. Sometimes I forget to put them on. I'm not perfect with it. Nobody's perfect. But there's technologies out there that reinforce what I'm trying to say, and turning off the lights or limiting the artificial lights. So, quick recap, active recovery for your brain. Number one, new sights, new sensations, just get out, see different things, create different connections in your brain. Number two, let your mind wander. Strategically let it wander and just be curious. Don't get caught up and tense and fight all of the thoughts and emotions that come up. Just be curious with it. Number three, get into nature. Get outside. Be in the natural environment. It'll bring you back in so many different ways to a more natural self. Number four, turn off the lights. Limit the lights, turn off the lights, dim the lights. use blue light blocking lenses as whatever you can do to limit the light exposure. So get connected to your circadian rhythm, get connected to more naturally experiencing things. So I hope this video helps. If it did, please smash that thumbs up button. I appreciate you guys. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys on the next video.